3 podcasts in 4 months. The momentum is palpable as I push my $10 microphone cover for all it's worth. A little bit to update you on as we roll towards the biggest month of the year, so let's get cracking. So the first thing in my permanent quest for a passive income, I've turned my hand to writing. So I, under the Otto umbrella, soon to be a multinational media conglomerate, I have gone back to my roots a little bit, and I've always been a big fan of writing. I don't know if that's being an introverted only child, I don't know what that is, but I have developed an aptitude for writing. I enjoy it. I find it's probably the easiest way to express myself, and I enjoy doing it. So I have started doing a little bit of writing on Substack, which is a newsletter hosting platform for those of you who may not know what the hell Substack is. And as I said, it's under the Otto Talks banner. I decided to do a nice light, easy breezy topic for my first bit of online writing, talking about mental health and the death of a parent. So that's, make of that what you will. Very in keeping with my light style, so that is good. Otherwise, in the realm of trying to create passive income, as I say, Operation Passive Income, I have made using Canva, big shout out to Canva, not yet sponsoring the podcast. I have used Canva to make an interview guide. Having had my fair share of interviews in my time, I figured I may be able to help other people. I know that interviewing is a bit of a tough, intimidating thing for some people, especially if you ask my fiancée, who has been in the same company for the best part of a decade. The idea of interviewing is not something that she is particularly excited about. So the idea being that it can be quite hard to prepare for, and just made a little guide on Canva that you can use to help you get prepared for those interviews, get you through those interviews and nail them, as the title of that suggests. So I have that as well. So the creative juices are flowing, they are spinning. It's still my intention to do some of my workout videos and stuff on social media. I think what I might do is my early learnings there are I don't particularly enjoy filming myself in a crowded gym. I find that quite tricky. Big fan of kettlebells. I think what I might do, given that I live in the beautiful country of Australia, is I might take, once we do the wedding stuff, I might take to filming some outdoor workouts with kettlebells, because I think that's going to be a bit more doable than filming in the gym, surrounded by people that are staring at you and don't know what you're doing with your phone. So that's that. Thank you for the people who have read the writing on Substack so far, and for the amazing people that have given me feedback on the interview guide. It is obviously available to friends, but otherwise I have put that out on a few different platforms. That is available for purchase, actually. Listen to me. Sounds very official. But the idea being that there'll be the interview guide, there will probably be something related to CVs, and potentially something related to, right, so I've nailed my interview, now what do I do? How do I actually kind of negotiate if I'm being offered a job? So some fun and games there. Who knows, I may dip my toe from creating these little guides and things on Canva, which is ridiculously easy. I have found I'm not remotely creative, but I can spin together something pretty quickly on Canva. So that means anyone can, is the lesson there. But yeah, that could maybe extend into some more kind of video-based stuff. So we shall see. But yeah, that is fun and games. So it's kind of the creative stuff at the moment since we spoke last. Otherwise, been up to a fair amount since February 17th. My podcast platform tells me is the last one I did of these. So since February 17th, what have we been up to? Well, so Taylor Swift came to town. Sat through 3.5 hours of Taylor Swift, which was an event, we shall say. was actually way better than I expected to be. I was a bit concerned, not really being a massive Swiftie, that it would be the closest thing to a cult that I would experience. I wasn't wrong about that, but thankfully they were a happy cult as opposed to a violent, aggressive one. So, but no, it was good fun. I'm realising for anyone out there who's a Taylor Swift fan, of which I think there may be one or two on the planet. I think, is it Reputation? I'm not going to I wouldn't put all my kind of money if I was to bet on that title, but I think that's my preferred era of Taylor Swift. Basically, it's just the one that's the most upbeat, because a lot of her music is very slow, and 3.5 hours of her music is predominantly slow, and it was pretty intense. There was a lot of screaming. There was a lot of very high-pitched noises that were not coming from Taylor Swift, that were coming from the teenage girls around us. But it was cool. It was an event. Manon went 2 nights in a row. I have no idea how she did that. That is, impressive. But she absolutely loved it, so that was cool. And then what else? We went to Orange. So for those of you who are not in Australia, there's a lovely country town called Orange, surrounded by vineyards and, kind of rolling hills and all this jazz. But we went for, Manon found an event called Night in Nashville. So we had Taylor Swift, and then we roll into Night in Nashville, which was a country music event in a rural Australian town. We went with our friends Jen and James. Shout out Jen and James. James and I getting into tennis, which is, very exciting, being someone who is approaching middle age and finding new hobbies. Very exciting. Went to Night in Nashville, which was very fun. It was really, I don't know how you describe it. It's country music in an Australian barn. And the main event was a guy called, what was his name? Robbie Mortimer. And the place was packed, to be fair. It was rammed. But it was hilarious, because he's clearly he's the king of this town, and he is on the Australian country music circuit. And there's a thing I read once about basketball players in the NBA, and obviously they travel to so many cities, and I guess they leave their mark in more ways than one, whether that is through a few illegitimate children or two. I dare say Robbie Mortimer has a few, judging by his antics. I think Robbie Mortimer has a few illegitimate children spread across Australia. I'm going to say that is just a fabricated hypothesis on my part, in case some random Australian legal team picks us up. But he's some BD from Robbie Mortimer in Orange at Night in Nashville, that's for sure. But it was very fun. And Orange is a great little town. Orange is one of those places where I could live in Orange quite comfortably. If it wasn't 4 hours away from Sydney and the coast, Orange would be a candidate, I think, for Australian Otto experience. So that's Orange. Otherwise, a few other little things here and there. We went to. I am again, as I hurtle towards middle age, realizing what I should and shouldn't have done in terms of studying and stuff at school and uni. I probably should have done something to do with biology and zoology, because I've realised that I think I probably prefer animals to humans. Taronga Zoo, which is the local zoo in Sydney, is absolutely outrageous. So much so that I've considered signing up to the Friends of Taronga program, which is, when I say that out loud, is a little bit of a stark realisation that I would happily give a recurring amount of money to a local zoo is an interesting point of my life, but that's where I am. So Manon and I went to the zoo recently for the third or fourth time, as I said. Massive fan, love it. They got baby hippos, they got gorillas, they got platypus, they got all. A Komodo dragon, big Komodo dragon. I don't need to tell you what animals are in zoos, but that's what they have in Taronga, and that's why I love going there. We've now been in Australia for, what is it, when we move over? 2019, so almost 5 years. And obviously Sydney has a very famous bridge, Sydney Harbour, the famous bridge, the harbour and the Opera House, the Harbour Bridge, sorry, and the Opera House are the kind of things that people think of when they think of Sydney. Manon's always wanted to do the Harbour Bridge climb. So we did the Harbour Bridge climb last weekend, which was delightful, shall we say. It was good fun. It's it's a bit of an event. It's a bit of a production. It's like 4 hours, start to finish, but you probably walk, I don't know, like 1,000 meters max. You don't walk very far at all. But they put you in the little like underbelly of the bridge. You get dressed up in your very fashionable little jumpsuit. They set you up with a headset. They set you up with a group of about 15 people. They give you some training for how to go up and down stairs, which, it's always good to just confirm you know how to go up and down stairs. So that was useful in more ways than one. And then off you set, you're walking under the bridge for a while, and then you kind of get into the heart of the bridge, you climb up to the top, and you get your pictures and stuff, which is cool. Very expensive. Very expensive. And I was trying to figure out how much money they make. They must make an absolute bomb because, ticket prices are expensive. Even the children's ticket prices are expensive. And then they try and they take all these photos of you, get the videos and stuff, and then at the end, you would kind of imagine that some of that stuff might be included, but no. They slam you for that when you come in off the bridge and you get your jumpsuit off. Interesting move. But yes, anyway, obviously we bought the pictures because Manon would not let us get out there without buying the pictures, so we have those pictures, which you may or may not have seen on Instagram. A very fashionable jumpsuit. Peek behind the curtain. You are encouraged not to wear anything under the jumpsuit. I, not being a psychopath, kept my underwear on, as did Manon, but there were plenty of people in there that wore nothing and were quite vocal about the fact, shall we say, that they wore nothing under the jumpsuit. So, interesting experience being in close proximity to people wearing only jumpsuits, but, we survived. Very exciting day out, and it was really sunny. So, again, middle-aged man here just talking about expense of stuff and the weather, but fabulous day out. Otherwise, mentioned earlier, I've been getting into tennis, and I don't need to be picking up more expensive hobbies, but apparently I have. And so now, for those of you who know me, know that my personality is probably on the addictive side. So safe to say, got my eyes set on the ATP Tour for next year. Yannick Sinner is average, and I'll be able to take him down. But I have a fun little anecdote to give an insight into the life of, I don't know how you describe this. It's not small town Australia because I live in Sydney, but I've been getting tennis lessons just down the road, and they obviously have some tennis rackets, and I thought I would, rather than order my new racket online, I thought, hey, they do your lessons, they're a nice group of people, why don't you just order your racket through them? That's, a nice way to do the local economy, local community, blah, blah, blah. And so I order it the week before Easter. The guy warns me at a time. He's like, oh, it's Easter, it might take a little while to come in. But a little while means like a week. And I'm like, okay, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, no worries, cool. Flash forward to like 2.5 weeks later, and I'm getting impatient. I've heard nothing. And I'm popping my head in every day, because it's just on the way into town, it's not far, to say, hey, any update? What's going on? And without fail, this guy behind the desk, nice guy, but like just not the most attentive, I guess we could say. Always calls me Ollie. First of all, sees me every day. I'm the guy who's hassling him for a tennis racket. Give him my name. He's got my number. I want updates on my racket. He calls me Ollie every day. No updates. Yep, nothing. Radio silence. Put my head in. Nah, sorry, nothing for you, Ollie. I'm like, yep, cool. I'll let Ollie know when I see him. And so it gets to the point where my people pleasing, my desire to please people, finally gives up. And I say, look, mate, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm just going to go order my own because this is taking a bit longer than I would have liked. And as you can imagine, said this in my head. I was very direct. In real life, I was very not apologetic, but no, don't worry about it. I know it takes a while. Used to this busy time, blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's fine. I think it might be a bit easier if I go and get my own. So, I ordered my own last week, and it's coming. This is Sunday the 21st. It's coming tomorrow, according to Australia Post. We'll touch wood because who the hell knows. But we're cracking on for like a month. It's gonna be roughly a month. And in 2024, I find the idea of ordering a tennis racket and not getting it for a month a little bit hard to come to terms with. But anyway, the really short version of the story is I've been playing tennis for like a month. I've spent far too much money on a new racket that I'm yet to receive, and it's probably well above my well, it's definitely well above my required racket ability. But we're going to have a nice new racket at some point. Wilson Blade. For anyone who's interested in tennis, Wilson Blade V9. Coming soon, hopefully, to tennis courts near Manly. But yeah, we shall see. Ask me at the wedding. If I see you at the wedding, I probably still won't have it. Otherwise, I was thinking about this earlier. I was trying to think about what else, if anything, I should talk about, because I am, if anyone knows Bill Simmons, I'm a big Bill Simmons fan. He has his own podcast. He has his own podcast network. He sold it to Spotify for an awful lot of money. But he is very adept at switching between topics. I think one of the things I found really challenging about this idea of creating stuff is a lot of what you read about how to create something that resonates with people is you kind of have to focus in on a bit of a niche. And that's hard because I don't like the idea of, I guess, kind of limiting what I'm talking about to one thing. So but then I know that if I came on here and spoke about stuff like, football and Man United, that people would switch off instantly and they wouldn't care. And my enormously loyal fan base in Germany, big shout out to Stuttgart, episode 9, highest download location, Stuttgart. I see you. Would turn off because they don't want to hear me talk about Man United. They probably don't hear me talk about this. I don't know why they're tuning in anyway, but who knows. But anyway, long-winded way of saying we'll sprinkle in a few more things here and there. So Manon and I recently watched Fallout on Amazon Prime, which is a TV show based on a video game. I've never played the video game. I've never really been into the type of video games it's based on. But I think the top line, it's a good show. It's an entertaining show. I won't spoil it in case anyone wants to watch it. But and this is me being grumpy again, my gripe with it is it was like 8 episodes. It's the classic, right? It's like eight episodes. It's an hour and a half. Well, sorry, not an hour and a half. That's bananas. It's an hour every episode. It's 8 hours, right? That's quite a long time. And the amount of stuff you get to the end of series 1, and the amount of stuff that is like up in the air, you have no idea. There's just way too many questions. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just, again, I really enjoyed it. I've seen a lot of reviews for it that kind of give it 9 out of 10. I think 9 out of 10 is strong. I think creatively it's a very interesting story. Obviously it's based on a video game, as I said, so it's a creative adaptation or interpretation. But it's, when TV shows just do it, when they set up so clearly for like season 2 or season 3, and it's just so clear they just leave a bunch of stuff kind of in the chamber. I just think they left way too much in the chamber. I'm like, come on. There's way too many things here that I need to know. And maybe that's the whole thing. Maybe that's just them hooking me in for season 2. So we shall see. But if you haven't seen it, you haven't watched it, give it a watch. It's very good. It's very entertaining. That's the extent of my pop culture conversation for today, but I just wanted to drop that one in. Final thing, after a month and a half away, 2 months if you're being pedantic, wedding, obviously. That is that is coming up quick, and I think we're pretty much done and dusted. I say we. I've done absolutely nothing in the planning department. Like I will hold my hands up and I will say that once I purchased an engagement ring and once I put said engagement ring on Minno's finger, mentally I kind of checked out of doing anything to do with it. I was kind of like, oof, and take a break. That has been an event. So yeah, I haven't pulled my weight, but I'll be the first to admit that, and that's fine. But we have, well, I say it's fine, ask Manon. We have Scotland and then Spain, so that's right around the corner. Very excited to see everyone, very excited to, not for it to be done, because I'm just very excited. I think it'll be a really fun time. And it'll be cool to see everyone. It'll be cool to hang out. It will be, the venue's really cool. So, I'm hoping that everyone's going to be able to get there without too much issues, because it's kind of in the middle of nowhere in Spain. But, it's kind of scary how soon that is happening. But yeah, that's me. That was kind of 2 months in about, I don't know, 15 minutes or whatever this is going to end up being. But quick recap, Otto talks on Substack, some writing on there. If you know any friends, anyone that's interviewing that needs help with interviewing, let me know. I can give them my guide. Or if you are interviewing and you need a hand, please do let me know. And yeah, otherwise that's kind of it. I'll crack on, try and do at least one more of these before the big day. Otherwise, peace out. I'll speak to you soon.